back to Colorholica. Today we're going to talk about part 2, how I met my husband. So if you guys watched the last video, I talked about how I made the move from the US to Lebanon, and 2 weeks later I met my now husband. His name is Joe, and he is Lebanese. He's actually full Lebanese, but his dad has a Polish background. One thing I didn't tell you in the previous video was that my husband's uncle is my dad's best friend. I'll give you a second to let that sink in. So yeah, they've known each other for a really long time. So yeah, his uncle, who lives in the US, asked me to take a whole bunch of stuff with me to his family in Lebanon. And he mentioned it while taking me to the airport that I was going to meet his nephew, who was studying for a PhD in math, and that he liked playing music and he was a guitar player, and I was like, okay, cool. But I mean, I didn't think anything of it. I was just going to see my dad and no other reason, honestly. The one thought I do remember having was I pictured Joe as like a 40-year-old, I don't know, like a late 40s, and I don't know, I was just like, okay, that like flashed in my mind, but that was it. So when I get to Lebanon, I had like a huge duffel bag full of stuff to give to his family, but I was so busy, like meeting family members, going out, doing this and that. We totally forgot about the whole thing. So it wasn't until the week after I canceled the flight that we actually finally invited them over to pick up their things. It just so happens that same night I had a dinner with a cousin of mine. So I was all like getting dressed up, and I was like praying she didn't come early so that I could at least meet the people and not be rude and like leave before they showed up. So anyway, they finally arrived, and as soon as Joe walked in, I got the butterflies in my stomach, and just something inside me like jumped. I was like, I don't know, something about him, just like I was instantly comfortable. And so anyway, they sat down in the living room for coffee, and Joe sat across from me on a chair, and I sat on the couch. And he started asking me like questions like, you know, like, okay, where are you from? Like, where did you grow up? And what do you do for a job? Stuff like that. And then like we just started connecting, and 5 to 10 minutes later, he like moved to the couch. So unfortunately, my cousin interrupted the moment and sent me a text message saying she was downstairs waiting, and I had to say my goodbyes and go. But I was totally thinking about him like the whole night. I was like, why did I have to leave so early? I could have talked more, and you know. So anyway, I left, and well, I waited the 24-hour period, and he didn't ask me to be friends on Facebook. So I took the liberty of going on and adding him myself. I know it looks bad, but I did it. Sorry. So then we started Facebook chatting, and a few days later he asked me out. And the first date led to a second, and then a third, and we were just hooked from there. I mean, he's like my best friend, and I'm so fortunate to have him in my life, honestly. So a few months later, I found out that his uncle had actually tried to get us to meet 6 years earlier. I was studying in NYC, and he was studying in Canada, and he wanted us to be introduced to each other, but my dad was like, no way, she's too young. I was 18, but you know, dads. So he was like, no, she's too young, she needs to focus on her studies, and you know, so that never ended up happening. I didn't know about it, and it just didn't happen. I mean, maybe it wasn't the right time, maybe we wouldn't have liked each other back then, I don't know. But all I know is that it worked out in the end, and it's awesome. That's the story for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more, and remember to always live life colorful.